Greetings, I'm Jim Biles. The topic of this lightning presentation is GeoConvergence and the future of work. Since the turn of the 21st century, a broad consensus has emerged among policymakers, pundits, and researchers that new technologies, demographic change, and novel forms of management and organization will transform work in coming decades. The key aspect of demographic change is the aging of populations in the global north and much of the global south, which will result in slower population growth and a shrinking workforce. The emergence of new technologies is summed up by the meme, "The robots are coming." Relevant innovations include automation, virtual and augmented reality, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. New ways of organizing and managing work rely on access to just-in-time labor, adaptive workforces, and temporary task-based relations with workers. The convergence of these novel technologies and new ways of organizing work has been heralded as a fourth industrial revolution, transforming yet again relations between a small group of economic elites and workers. Purportedly, these innovative technologies and labor relations will allow workers to transcend space and time and to live in multiple temporal and spatial realities simultaneously. Geographic technologies and geographic thinking play a prominent role in the future of work. For example, autonomous vehicles using GIS, GPS, and remote sensing are expected to threaten the livelihoods of more than 3.5 million workers in coming decades. Geographic thinking and concepts such as time-space compression, global production networks, and network governance have also been important in understanding the implications of broader social, economic, and political change for workers. The future of work is accompanied by the promise of lower cost and improved productivity and flexibility for employers. Workers will also potentially benefit from greater flexibility, more time for leisure, and less stress. However, there's a potential dark side, including greater unemployment and inequality, and the emergence of what Yuval Noah Harari calls the useless class of irrelevant workers. The debate also overlooks implications in the global south and fails to consider informal work, which accounts for 60% of total employment globally. Furthermore, in the context of weak globalization, geodivergence and globalization are just as relevant as geoconvergence. The future of work will depend on geography, and the impacts of climate change cannot be underestimated. The transformation will invariably destabilize existing social institutions as well. In this context, what the ILO calls non-standard employment will emerge as the norm, and the traditional working class will become an angry precariat of contingent, just-in-time labor. The implications for workers are clear. The breakdown of hourly wages, established social protections, a fixed work week, and the distinction between home and work. In light of climate change and the unstable earnings and consumption resulting from the proliferation of precarious employment, the state will invariably have to resort to universal basic income. So the issue is not so much the role of geography in the future of work, but rather what role can geography play in the future of workers in helping people make a living and live more meaningful lives. A greater reliance on technology can empower some workers in strategic positions by creating bottlenecks and choke points in just-in-time production and distribution systems. Furthermore, in a more progressive future, new technologies would be used to organize and empower workers, and workers would have a direct voice in technology development and implementation. The future of work is ultimately political, not economic. As geographers, we must ask, is it possible to design and implement technology in a way that both values human work and is economically viable? Thank you.